you. As you no doubt figured out from my introduction, I am not very old. I am 19, almost 20, although if you ask my mom, she'll say that I was a baby just yesterday. However, in my 19 years, there is one thing that I've learned to be true, and that is that Mr. Rogers was a very wise man. I recently learned that Mr. Rogers had a favorite quotation that he kept written on a piece of paper in his pocket at all times. And that quotation perfectly sums up what I would like to share with you today. And this is what it says: "There isn't anyone whom you couldn't love once you've heard their story." But in order to explain to you why that quotation is so important, I have to go back a couple of years in my life to when I was a senior in high school in a class called Pop Culture with a student teacher named Heather. And the reason I remember this class so much is because one day Heather came in and wrote on the whiteboard something that completely changed the way I looked at my life. And this is what she wrote: "It is entirely possible to entertain an idea that is not your own without fully accepting or rejecting it." And when I first read that, I thought it was ridiculous. And then I thought about it a little bit more, and I realized that not only was it possible, but it was something that I had never tried before, but I kind of wanted to. It was in that moment that I realized I had spent my entire life looking in a mirror that was constantly reflecting back to me my own opinions, my own beliefs, and everything I already knew to be true. And while I firmly believe that it is essential for every individual to have strong opinions and strong beliefs and an established identity, constantly looking in that mirror was not producing any growth in my life. And I was determined to change that. So I went to college and I started taking new classes and learning new ideas and meeting new people. And slowly but surely, I started to see growth in my life. And then I found out this fall that I was accepted to speak at this event, and I decided to take my journey one step further. I decided that I was going to spend 1 month intensively focusing on talking to people about what made them different from me. So, in the middle of September, I started calling people. I called people who were older than me, people who were younger than me, people my age, people I had never met before in my entire life, people I knew quite well, and people who I'd only talked to once or twice before. And every single one of them I asked to sit down with me for an hour over coffee and to share with me their story. And what's funny was almost every single person of whom I asked this said, "Why me? I don't have anything interesting to say." And to every single one of them I said, "You are interesting, and you have something to say that's worth hearing." And you know what? Not a single one of these people proved me wrong. So today I'm going to share with you their stories, and I would honestly love to stand here and tell you the stories of every single one of these beautiful individuals, but then we would be here all day today and all day tomorrow and for the next 3 weeks. So I have picked 6 to summarize for you, to give you just a little glimpse into the beauty that I have been so blessed to experience. And I'm going to start near the beginning of my month-long journey with a woman who shared with me that at age 5, her parents started giving her cough syrup with codeine every night before she went to bed to help her sleep. And that cough syrup began a 40-year-long battle with addiction to drugs and alcohol, until at age 45, she entered rehab for the 4th time and decided then and there that she would never touch drugs or alcohol again. And for the last 11 years, she hasn't. I talked to a man who's a trucker and drives from Lincoln to California and back every single week. And he said, "I don't know how people can work in an office, because my office moves at 75 miles an hour down the interstate, and I get to watch sunrises and sunsets in different cities across the country every single day." I talked to a little girl who has spent most of her life in foster care and says that she can't wait until the day that she and her brothers are adopted so she can stop being sent to respite 1 weekend a month. I talked to a woman who is one of my dearest friends, and she shared with me how as a young girl she realized that 2 people in her life who were supposed to love her the most weren't showing her that love, and how pained she was at age 10, and how pained she is still today at 30. I talked to a young man who has suffered from cerebral palsy his entire life, and he shared with me how he struggled with his family's idea of what it means to be a man when his body was so physically weak. I talked to one of my best friends who's an international student from Korea, and she shared with me what it was like growing up in Korean culture and then being educated in the United States, and how that has shaped how she views the world and what she sees as beautiful in other people and what she views as beautiful in herself. And finally, I talked to a man who emigrated to the United States from Bavaria when he was 31 years old after studying Latin and Greek in Europe. He now speaks 6 different languages, is a certified Tai Chi instructor and Reiki healer, and his dream is to one day go and visit Iceland. All of these people shared with me stories of incredible sorrow and pain, and also incredible joy and hope. And with each one of them, it was evident to me that the journey that they had been on is what makes them who they are today. And it's ironic because I'm supposed to stand up here today and share with you about this journey that I've been on, and yet I can't find the words to describe how much my life has changed in the last couple of months. But what I can tell you is this. Every single time I sat down with another one of these people and had the privilege of listening to them share their story with me was one of the most beautiful moments of deep, intimate human connection that I could possibly ever experience. And with every single one of them, in viewing the beauty and growth I saw in their lives, it was produced in my own. And it's funny, because I can acknowledge the beauty and growth that I've seen in my life, and yet I am afraid. I'm afraid that today is going to end and I'm going to forget about all of the beauty and growth I've seen in my life and in the lives of others. I'm afraid that I'm going to leave here today and go back to looking in a mirror that only reflects to me what I'm familiar with. I'm afraid that I'm going to walk off this stage today and go back to doing what is easy, which is only viewing what I know to be true, my opinions, my beliefs, everything that I am, and never interacting with differences that make me uncomfortable. But if I really stop and think about it, I know that that is not how I want to live my life. But this is not easy. It's hard. And so I'm constantly reminding myself of the story of Snow White. I think most of us are probably familiar with the fairy tale. Every day, the queen gets up and looks in the mirror and says, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" And every day the mirror answers her, "It's you, O queen. You are the fairest of them all," until the one day that it doesn't. And that one day, it shows her a picture of someone else. It shows her a picture of Snow White. And in that split second, the queen determines to destroy Snow White. She decides that she must decimate the cause of the difference that is making her so uncomfortable. And that is how I naturally react when I am presented with an idea or a belief or a person that is different from me. But if I stop and think about it, I know that that is not how I want to react. I don't want to destroy Snow White. I want to stand looking in the mirror next to her. I want to look in the mirror and see my own experiences reflected back so that I know who I am. But next to me, I want to see someone else. I want to see their experiences, their story reflected back to me, because in that moment of reflection, I am getting as close to seeing the world through another person's eyes as I ever possibly can. And that is a beautiful experience. And I don't want just one person standing in the mirror next to me. I want everyone I've ever interacted with who have shared their experiences with me. When I want to look in the mirror, I want to see them, so that when I go out into my life, I'm not viewing the world through one flimsy lens of what I've experienced, but I am seeing the world through hundreds, maybe even thousands of experiences that have been shared with me by other individuals in my life. So in order to accomplish that, I am asking you for some help. I don't want today to be the end of my journey. I want today to be the beginning of something I'm going to focus on for the rest of my life. So, underneath 5 chairs in this room are gift cards to the mill with my phone number and my email address on them. You can go ahead and look. If you are one of the individuals that has a card taped under your chair, I would invite you to please contact me sometime in the next 2 weeks, because I want to meet you. I want to hear your story. I want you to share with me your experiences, and I want to know what makes you who you are. I want to share that beautiful moment with you. And if sharing your story sounds scary, congratulations, you're a normal human being. It is not easy to share your life with someone else. It's not easy for me, and I've never met somebody for whom it is easy. But I promise you that if you can muster up the courage, you won't regret it. If you have a card under your chair and you're not ready for this, don't be ashamed and just give it to somebody who is. And if you don't have a card under your chair and you are willing or interested in talking to me, please come find me sometime today, because I would be overjoyed to meet you and hear your story. As I said, I don't want today to be the end of my journey. I want today to be a motivation for me to go out and live this as my mission in every interaction I have for the rest of my life. And I hope that you will take this to heart as well. If you can think of one person that you don't know very well, and if you can muster up the courage to ask them for coffee or lunch, or even to sit with you for 15 minutes in the break room at work and to share with you their story, I know it's scary and it's hard to reach out to people, but I promise it will be worth it, and you will see beauty and growth in your life. And so to inspire myself continually and to inspire you as well, I would like to leave with you some last wise words from Mr. Rogers. And here is what he has to say. As human beings, our job in life is to help people understand how rare and valuable each one of us really is. That each of us has something that no one else has or ever will have. Something inside that is unique to all time. It is our responsibility to help one another discover that uniqueness and to provide ways of developing its expression. Thank you.